Godfather, you know what's great about you? You're going to be the greatest senior player that ever lived because the time you're 50, your swing's going to be parallel. You'll be still hitting past everybody. So I got that going for me, right?
Playing lessons from the pros.
Started when I was 4, and I've never had a junior set of clubs. I took my dad's club. The first club I ever hit was a 4-iron. Those PG balls out in the front yard, and I literally took it back, it would hit the ground. And I'd go out and do that for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks before I got a chance to go see a golf course or anything. And I just kept hitting those balls, and that's how I developed my swing. We're at Nemacolin Woodlands at Mystic Rock, home of the '84 number Pennsylvania Classic. And we're on the 5th hole here. It's my favorite hole because of when you get down towards the green, I had an ideal to sort of beautify the left side of the hole a little bit. They'd had problems with the fairway. It was a lot lower, and they had a lot of problems with drainage. They kept losing the fairway, so we dug that ditch on the left a lot deeper, and so the water would drain off the fairway nicely. And I call him Dad, I told Mr. Hardy that if you put a waterfall right there by 11T and 16T, it'd be beautiful. Just a small one, but there's 2,500 gallons of water pumping through there per minute, so when they do it right.
And where are you looking for your drive here?
This is a par 5. There's a bunker down there on the left that I just try and take right at the right side of that left bunker and hit a little cut down there. Something like that. Wow, these first swings are beautiful, huh? I learned from Jack Nicklaus, whether he knew it or not. It was a Golf Digest golf lesson tees. It was like 1 through I don't know how many. They looked like cartoon pictures on how to fade the ball, how to draw it. They had arrows and stuff. He showed his grip. I learned the grip, the interlocking grip through him. That, to me, has been the greatest. Should be. They should publish it every week on how to teach someone how to play golf. Whether it's Jack or Tiger or myself or whoever, kids relate to cartoon pictures. And that's what got me in the game of golf, is watching him, following him, and those lessons that he did on paper, not on TV. It was just, I read him. This is what he did. He interlocked. Right. He showed you the grip, showed you how to take it back to hit a cut, how to take it inside to hit a draw. And that's how I learned the game. Actually, I'm gonna hit a 7. You know, it's amazing when you play with amateurs a lot. People that hit out of the rough, they grip the club so tight that they think it's gonna help them advance the ball. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna hit a 7-iron. Since it's coming out of the rough, I should catch somewhat of a flyer. Try and land it just short and roll it up on the green, hopefully cutting. But when I hit out of the rough, I like to loosen my hands up as much as possible. And right at impact, my left arm just basically hits the ball. The looser the grip, the better chance the club has a chance of getting through the grass.
Ooh, does that take off, huh?
New greens. Beautiful. What's about 80 feet?
Yeah.
All I like to try and do is just make sure I get the line. Of course, the speed. You want to make sure the speed's good. Of course, this is a putt that's, you're not always going to make, unless you're Tiger Woods. But my goal here is to try and get close enough to where I can at least 2-putt and get a good birdie and go on to the next hole with some momentum. Yep. Tough putt. Speed was good, but just the wrong direction. Pretty good green there, Dad. Huh? A lot more slope than the old one. Yeah. I'm more of a field putter. I feel when I see the line, I just try and hit that line, and it's all about speed. Like that. I get a shot here too.
Who's your audience here? Let's meet this man.
This is Mr. Hardy. He owns the place.
Nice spot, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hit 2-iron here. It's just got to get something down there. If I hit 3-wood or driver, I think I can knock in that left bunker, and you don't want to go there. It's not pretty. So I'll just hit my little 2-iron down there. Should be just short of it. Way short of it. Beautiful. 149. Should be a 9-iron.
I heard you once say that biggest problem that your pro-am and amateurs have is not enough club.
Yeah, I think pretty much 100% of the pros that play on Wednesday with amateurs, they say the same thing. I don't know. I don't know if they're scared of going over a green, but I would rather try and at least get it there to knock, have a chance getting it close than never hitting enough club. I'm on Pesci all the time about it. Pesci, he likes to try and hit his irons so far, but he doesn't hit the ball high enough to be able to carry him that far, and I'm on him all the time about it. But Joe never hits enough club. But you know what? I love having him on my side, because if you're betting somebody, his short game's awesome. That might have to get down. Well, the divot was nice anyway. I see a cup out on the left. I never look behind the hole. Peter, my caddy, does sometimes when I'm confused on one, but I see a line real quick. I always have. And usually if I hit my line, I got a good chance of making it. I don't know what it is, but I've always been that way. I just look at it from behind, take 2 practice swings and hit it. If I'd have hit it, it'd have gone in maybe. Oh, shorty got me.
Some days better than others. I mean, you say you see the line.
Well, bent greens and Bermuda greens, I really feel like I do really well on. I have a very tough time on Poana. A very tough time.
Shorty putt, same thing. Quicker the better.
Yeah. Well, it's like Lee Trevino said, one time. He said, "So why he putted fast? You don't worry about it. You don't have anything to worry about. The pressure's gone. The longer you sit over a putt and worry about it, oh, I got to make this. This could be 100,000, or you got your amateurs playing $1 a game and they're over it for a long time. All they're doing is thinking about how they can miss it. Right. So I like the thought of how I'm going to make it than sit there and say how I'm going to miss it. Sometimes on par 3s on tour that you could have a 10-foot downhill putt, you'd be better off being 30 feet away. Some of your majors and stuff like that. But the key to us is the par 3s, you really feel bad. It doesn't care how long or how hard they are. If you make 3s, you're not really getting beat in the field. If you make bogeys and others, then you're getting killed in the field. So I was fortunate enough last year. I think I was leading birdies on par 3s last year, which is not a stat that people would think I would do good at, but it kept me in a lot of tournaments and kept me in a lot of rounds. So, but like this hole here, it's about 182. It's the wind's out of the left. Should be helping a little bit, but I'm going to try and hit a 7-iron, land in the middle because the greens are firm, and hopefully it'll roll back there. If the wind takes it. Didn't touch it. Oh. Huh. It's weird. But I'm not going to get upset over that because I hit the shot the way I wanted to hit it, you know?
Right.
Well, I got a downhill chip pretty much. It's uphill, downhill. It's a pretty tough chip, but I use my L wedge and try and flop it. I never really go over a wedge. Every now and then a 9-iron if it's a real long chip, but since we're practicing, this is that shot I was telling you about. I like to practice and just sit here with one hand and just kind of flop it up like that. And what's great about that is when you hit a shot one-handed and you hit it like that, it's so crisp, you know you're doing everything right. Every time before I tee off in a tournament, I take my 52 and hit about 10 or 20 balls with my left hand only. And what that does for me is all my swings, you know, I always want to finish here inside 160 yards. I always want to finish the iron shot here because I've hit nothing but 3/4 shots now. And a lot of my long irons, I do the same thing unless I really go at it. But that has made me, that's what's improved my whole game, is just hitting one-handed shots. Sometimes a lot of people don't, when they put two hands on the club and they're hitting it, you know, left, right, dribbling or whatever, they don't really have a clue. I mean, they have a clue, but they don't know which hand may be affecting their swing. So if you get a right-handed golfer, so the left-hander would be more like their right hand, you know, going that way. But if you can practice this shot and hit it like that, solid and crisp every time, there's something in your backswing that you're doing right. You're doing everything right. And 90% of amateurs that hit bad shots, it's their backswing. Because they pick the club up, take it way outside, take it way inside. If I was to take this chip shot, you know, like that, way outside, then I got to somehow get the club back to here to hit it square. Or if you take it too far inside, you got to get here to get it there. But what's happened with my left arm is it's just, everything is just so square throughout the whole chip. You know, I can go 70 yards is about the furthest I can hit one left-handed. But when I hit it on line and hit it solid, I'm doing everything right on my takeaway. So when I go to hitting long irons and stuff, I feel like I'm chipping. You know, I'm letting the left arm just take the club back and the right arm's just sitting on there until impact. And the same thing with putting too. I like to hit a lot of one-handed putts because if you don't follow through, the ball's going to go right or left every time. So I love to practice one-handed because the good thing about it is you always follow through because the putter's so heavy. And that's pretty much a key thing is making sure you follow through every time you hit a putt. And I have putted on tour one-handed before. Mike Holbert did it with his right hand.
Yeah.
And played good. This is a little tougher hole for me because it's a right to left par 5. So I'm going to try and just take it right over the middle of that bunker with a cut. And luckily, if I hit it the way I want to hit it, the ball's going to kick left, so that's an advantage for me. But when it's warmer and the ball's rolling, it's probably a 3-wood hole, because that's about the only club I do draw. But I'm hitting driver just for you. So 31 of my years of playing this game, I was a drawer. So, I mean, and you know, it's something that it's great that I can sit there on every golf course and say, I'm avoiding the left side today. And I've never done that, you know. And I think if guys out there are really long hitters, they want to be good players, Nicklaus was the greatest at it. He avoided the left side all of his life. Off the tee, all I'm visualizing, if you can see that far, far little skinny tree way back there, that's a little right, maybe half of that bunker. That's where I just aim that ball, and that's where I hit it. But I always like to pinpoint something I'm going to aim at to start the ball and then cut it. I don't think it's good to, unless you're aiming at a flag, of course. I always like to, with the longer stuff, I aim at something where I'm gonna aim it, hit it there, and then fade it away from that. That's what I'm trying to say. Sure. I just think of aim, and my key to my golf swing is low and slow on the back, on the takeaway, and that's that left hand. I don't restrict anything. You know, a lot of guys that If I try and take the club back to parallel, there's tension on my back so bad it's a joke. But when I let it go, there's no tension, so I won't have any back problems. My godson, John Michael Sassini in Memphis, he came up to me right in front of his dad, Johnson. He goes, "Godfather, you know what's great about you? You're going to be the greatest senior player that ever lived because the time you're 50, your swing's going to be parallel. You'll be still hitting past everybody." So I got that going for me, right? I'm going to try and hit this ball. See the rough line?
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit it right there with somewhat of a little draw on it. This green feeds right to left. And that's no good. But it ain't bad. Just don't want to miss it left here. I just came up on it, got ahead of it a little bit, trying to cut it in there. But now I've got a lot of green to work with on my chip, though. If I hit it left, I don't really have too much.
Now you're trying to cut it to a back left pin.
Yeah, I was trying to hit it right in the middle of the green because the green slopes right to left, so that ball's going to trickle right to left when it hits. If I pull it and hook it, I'm 40 yards left down that slope in the hazard. I got nothing. But at least with a miss with a cut, I've avoided making a bad number, is what it is. You're hitting your irons an awful lot on a golf course, and if you can tone those, and like, you know, if you got 170 yards, if you know your shot, instead of getting up there guessing, am I going to hook it? Am I going to pull it? Am I going to push it? Am I going to cut it? Well, if you can work on that one shot, that's going to be your feel-good shot that you know it can, you know, make you score good, then that's the shot you need to go with. It doesn't matter if it's a draw or cut, but so many of your beginners, all your amateurs, your really good amateurs probably have that shot, but anything over like 11 to on up, they don't. They have maybe a shot that they hit all the time, but they don't know why. And that's the thing the teacher's got to do something with, you know. But that's the thing about, it's made me realize that, hey, I've got a cut now. That's what I want to hit. Let's avoid the left side, and my scores have been a lot better. I got here about 25 feet of green to work with. Thing I want to do is make sure I don't leave it short. So I want to try and fly this ball at worst 5 feet on the green. You know, I'll take my punishment if it goes just a little long, but at least I can still salvage par. Basically, it's the same shot I just hit on the last toe, a little chip, but it's going to be a little harder flop shot. And in the rough, I'm going to loosen my hands, almost play like a bunker shot. Loose hands, and make sure on this shot, you got to make sure the club gets through the ball. It's probably going to be a little long, but I just didn't want to leave it short. I notice a lot of guys do 3-woods and stuff, or woods out of here now. I'm still old-fashioned, I guess. I still like to just kind of hit a little flop with my L wedge. It's like you just got to make sure you follow through. I mean, that's the main thing. Well, I know it's 463. I've never played it. Me and you're the first two to ever play it. Brand new hole. What a great finishing golf hole, though, huh? Well, at least I hit my line. I don't know where it's going to end up, but I've always been open, especially now I hit a cut. But I was even open when I hit a draw. The key to being open is, the good thing about it is, you always can get your hips through the ball. If you're closed and you're trying to hit a shot, you end up being like that, where your hips don't rotate and get through the ball.
Yeah.
But like I'm trying to hit that bird, that's where I want to start the ball at, but my feet are probably pointing at these trees. But the club face is pointing probably, hopefully, right at that bird. I always believe wherever you point the club face, not where you point your feet. I got 176. It hit me a nice little 3/4 6-iron. Try to anyway. I'm guessing 30 yards. So instead of trying to take an L wedge and blast it as hard as I can, I take my 52, which gives me a little less loft, which I don't have to swing as hard, and the shot should come out a little lower. Maybe not as much spin, but it's one of those feel shots. So I'll just cut it a little bit, open the face up, just like a normal bunker shot. Be a lot lower with a lot more control, and it should spin a little bit. But the swing was effortless. Instead of trying to take an L wedge and just hit it as hard as you can never control the distance. I think it goes right. Learning something. Since we're the first two that's played it. Uh-oh. Got a tough putt here. There we go. I think if you got people that just want to enjoy the game, that don't really care if they get any better, that's great. That's what the game's about. You're never going to conquer it. I don't care who you are. Until one guy or one girl can come out and win every tournament they play in the rest of their life, then they've conquered the game of golf. But that's what's great about it. You know, you can play all your life. You know, you go into football, basketball, baseball. Those years are limited because you got to be so athletic and strong to perform in those things. In golf, you don't. It's reflex, it's rhythm, and it's a game that you can play all your life.
Was power, when was power not a part of your game? So tell me about, you know, when did accuracy, power, keeping it in play, and then winning all kind of come together?
Well, I think people don't realize that when I started playing, all I worked on was my short game. You know, it's funny, I grew up at a course called Bay Ridge Country Club. We had 9 holes when I was a little kid, and we didn't really have a bunker. There wasn't any bunker, so I really didn't know what a bunker was until I played some junior tournaments and stuff. And but I always fell in love with a flop shot. We had some really great Bermuda greens, real small, that a little elevated, so you had to hit a lot of flop shots. And to answer your question, I think it's everything. You know, I mean, I always wanted to win, I always want to win, but when you can combine power in a short game, which these guys do on tour now, that's the only way you can win. But people don't realize that I spend numerous hours on my short game. I hardly ever hit balls when I'm at home, except from 100 yards in, and I chip and putt all the time.
Is that flop shot you take, or even around the greens, it seems your swings are very long. A lot of instructors, a lot of people looking at that will go, well, how does he control that? Isn't it kind of get away from you? Is that what happens on your wayward shots, your missed chips? Do you feel it gets away, or is it just? Yeah,
I mean, it's everyone. It looks like I decel, but I really don't. And what I've really done a lot is at home I've got 3 greens from Players Turf International. They're artificial, synthetic. I mean, they're just like real greens. They hold like real greens. They putt like real greens. And but what I started doing a couple years ago, it's how I went from a draw to a cut, is I was practicing chipping with one hand, with my left hand. I was hitting 60-yard chips with my elbow or my 52 degree, and I was just goofing off. And you know, I was kind of sweating and it was hot, and I said, well, I'm gonna hit some one-handed and just try it. And these chips were cutting, and I hit it to my right front pin. It was about 5 on, and I was knocking, I hit 10 balls in a row, and I made one, and it was like, hey, this is something cool. Maybe I should start hitting a cut and start practicing this way. So every time before I tee off in a tournament, I take my 52 and hit about 10 or 20 balls with my left hand only. And what that does for me is all my swings, you know, I always want to finish here inside 160 yards. I always want to finish the iron shot here because I've hit nothing but 3/4 shots now. And a lot of my long irons, I do the same thing unless I really go at it. But that has made me, that's what's improved my whole game, is just hitting one-handed shots. You know, you hear teachers always say, you know, if you can, you want to hit the ball right there like you're hitting your arm up against a wall or something. And at impact, you want the club and your arm to be like that. And my left arm has gotten so much stronger, so it's made it a lot easier for me to control the ball, hit 3/4 shots, and my driving's just been, I'm never going to be a guy that's going to hit a ton of fairways. Any guy that hits it long is not going to hit a lot of fairways. If I hit 55 to 60% of my fairways, I'm doing pretty good.
I want to talk about that action, that one-handed action. That allowed you to cut it. So crooked stick, you were drawing it, and take me in from there. I mean,
I've drawn the ball ever since I was 4 years old. I'm 38 years old. I've been playing the game for 34 years. So 31 of my years of playing this game, I was a drawer. So I mean, and it's something that it's great that I can sit there on every golf course and say I'm avoiding the left side today. And I've never done that, and I think if guys out there are really long hitters, they want to be good players. Nicklaus was the greatest at it. He avoided the left side all of his life. I think Tiger, he maneuvers it both ways, but I think his natural shot's a draw. Most guys on tour have their shot. Look at Bruce Litsky. It worked for him for years.
Sure.
The big high cut. And,
so if the better player, let's try not to call him amateur all day. It's an easy thing to slip into. But if players know one shot, that's going to reap consistency, isn't it?
It will, because 90% of the game, you're going to be hitting your irons. I mean, we hit drivers in three woods a lot on each tee, but you're hitting your irons an awful lot on a golf course. And if you can tone those, and if you got 170 yards, if you know your shot, instead of getting up there guessing, am I going to hook it? Am I going to pull it? Am I going to push it? Am I going to cut it? Well, if you can work on that one shot, that's going to be your feel-good shot that it can, make you score good, then that's the shot you need to go with. It doesn't matter if it's a draw or cut, but so many of your beginners, all your amateurs, your really good amateurs probably have that shot, but anything over like 11 to on up, they don't. They have maybe a shot that they hit all the time, but they don't know why. And that's the thing the teacher's got to do something with, but that's the thing about, it's made me realize that, hey, I've got a cut now. That's what I want to hit. Let's avoid the left side, and my scores have been a lot better.
And winning. Let's talk about attitude. When things don't go right, you see a lot of people just get absolutely hog wild, absolutely mad at themselves.
You get mad, yeah.
Have you been there, and what do you do to stay, to get out? What, a lot of people want to know, this game pisses me off, but you still got to hit the next shot. What do you say to them?
Well, I mean, I've been one. There's no doubt that I got so mad that I walked off courses. I broke clubs, and you get so mad because you want to win so bad. And people say it's a give up or it's quitting or whatever. I think it's just in the heat of the battle where you just get so mad you don't know what else to do. But now what I do is I just start working on things. And being friends with Hubert Green and Fuzzy for so long I'll never forget this. About 6 or 7 years ago, I was playing with Hubert in practice round, and Fuzzy does the same thing. He says, if it's not going good, work on something. Whether you're playing the next week or if you are playing the next week, at least you can leave this golf course, maybe not scoring well, but work on something. And so about the last 4 or 5 years, that's what I've been doing, getting something out of the round. I pay attention, like if I have a bad hole now, I try and at least make par on the next hole, instead of firing at the flags. And that's where the last 3 years my game's gotten real consistent, is at least work on something. And plus, you never know. You may bring it back, the world rankings, you make a cut, top 55 and less, it keeps you motivated to get points. And so there's a lot of little things that add up to be big things that keeps me going. And plus, the fans, I don't want to do that anymore. I've been really good for 4 years, hadn't been suspended, hadn't been fined, so I'm doing good right now.
Some days, just put on a comfy pair of jeans and go out and work on your game.
Right? I do. I mean, at home, we don't have to wear you can wear shorts, you can wear t-shirts and stuff when I play golf at home, and be relaxed when you play the game. Thursday through Sunday, hopefully through Sunday, it's slacks on tour all the time, and when I get home, the last thing I want to put on is a pair of slacks.